But anyway, there's someone viewing. Hi, hello. I'm going to wait just one more minute and then I will get started. I was supposed to start at 11, but I got a little nervous that I was in the wrong place. So I kept backing out and coming back in to make sure I was in the right place. And so, anyway, I'll just go ahead and get started because I want to value you guys' time on this Good Friday. My name is Katie Johnson and I am a director out of North Carolina. Your amazing superstar director, Shauna Davis, and I met at a retreat in January, and I just fell in love with a lot of her. She is such a beautiful, bright light, and some of the conversation that we had meant a lot to me, and it spoke deep. So anyway, I appreciate her for giving me this opportunity to come talk to you guys today. So, like I said, my name is Katie. I'm from northeast North Carolina, so I'm very close to the Virginia line. I can actually walk into Virginia. I love to read and I love to garden, hence my attire. It's very appropriate for the conversation we're going to have today because I am an amateur homesteader, and as soon as I get done with this live, I have got my own garden, literal garden outside to tend to. But before that, I have tended to my business garden today through some follow-ups and through some other things and coaching a host and so forth. And so I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about tending to your business garden today. I have some notes. I am going to look down. Good morning from Vegas. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for telling me where you're from. I love that we are from everywhere, right? And I just love meeting new people. So just a little bit of background about me. I started Cincy in January 2013, so I just had my 8-year anniversary while we were at the leadership that I met your fearless leader at. And this is my full-time job now. I have been doing this for 4 years, was this past November. So I'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. But so guys, you guys are leaders. You're lead consultants and above. You know that leaders need to secure their 500, what I call to my leaders, our 500 leadership PRV by the end of the month, but really getting it by the 15th of the month is really important. And I wanted to talk to you guys about that. Why is it so important to have your 500 PRV in before the 15th of the month is because the first 2 weeks should be dedicated to your business. Okay, your own garden has to be taken care of before you can help take care of someone else's garden. So making sure that and I talk a lot with my hands. I'm sorry, I'm a former teacher and it's just what I do for emphasis. So if you feel like I'm like throwing hands at you, I don't mean to. It's just who I am. But anyway, so you don't have a team to worry about if you're not taking care of your own business first. If you're not making sure that your 500 is taken care of first. The first 2 weeks of the month, I always dedicate to my business. The second 2 weeks of the month, I have the liberty and the freedom to work with my team and to coach them and mentor them and help them with their gardens. So, in my opinion, my strict personal opinion, I don't think that any leader should be working with their team if their own 500 leadership PRV isn't taken care of first. And so that's why I always try to express to my leaders that you do you first, and then the last 2 weeks of the month you can take care of your team and work with them. So leaders lead by example. We know that. We lead by example for our teams. We show them the way. We show them how to run a business through authenticity, simplicity, and generosity. When you flow your business through those three things, those three filters, you're going to be A-okay with your business. A lot of times I hear my leaders tell me that, and you know, take it as you will. Some of y'all might be listening and say, well, that's just an excuse. They're just giving you an excuse. And you may be right. But I do hear a lot of my leaders, anybody on my Cincy team, but a lot of times my leaders say they don't have enough time to work their business in a day, or they find it hard to find the time to work their business in a day, or sometimes they'll tell me, well, I can find the time, I can make the time to work my business. But when I do, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I end up doing samples or printing labels or doing fluffy work. How can I make what I do when I do find the time more profitable? And so what I always tell people, and forever ever hit amen hands down, the number one income producing activity you can do in your business is your follow-ups. Hands down, follow-ups, because your follow-ups are going to lead to so many more conversations that you can have with your customers about their orders, about hosting a party, about becoming a consultant on your team. Your follow-ups is where that happens. There are so many ways that you can do follow-up in your business. Consistently showing up on your social media. If you're watching this right now, obviously you're on social media. I hope that you are utilizing it in your business. Sending happy mail, sending scent of the month samples, those are forms of follow-up, yes, just to name a few. But today I want to focus on specific one-to-one follow-up with your customers, direct messages, because that's where the magic really happens when it comes to your relationships and the connection that you can make with your customers. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about why I'm passionate about follow-up. I started this business in 2013 as a brand new stay-at-home mom. I was a former teacher taking a year off just to stay at home with my son for a year. And I needed to pay off the Christmas credit card. So I thought, well, I need to be able to help contribute financially to my family, to our family's income. So I actually started selling Scentsy before I even tried the first product. I never tried any of it. I just kind of went out on a leap of faith there. But I stay because I fell in love with the products. I fell in love with the people. I have met some of the most amazing people in my life through Scentsy, not just through consultants like you guys, but also through customers, just meeting new customers and meeting people, striking up relationships with people that I haven't had a relationship with in a very long time. And Scentsy has allowed us to do that. So I started my business mainly with home parties every new catalog season. All of my people wanted to have an in-home event, and that was super exciting because I love being able to meet people face-to-face, person-to-person, so they can really see genuinely who I am. But then throughout the catalog season, bag parties and basket parties were how I really, hey, how are you? Were really how I got my business going, taking off, really, meeting new people, networking with other people because their parties led to other parties, and their parties led to customers. I'm sorry, my kids know that I'm in here doing a training, and I've actually locked them out, and my husband's supposed to be on duty, but right now, is today Thursday? It's Friday. Oh, Shauna, oh God, you scared me, because all day yesterday, I thought yesterday was Friday, so now today I'm thinking it's Saturday, so I'm sorry. Hang on, I'm sorry, guys, one second. Hey, I'm in the middle of the training. You need to talk to Daddy. Okay, go talk to Daddy. Okay, love you. Sorry, this is what happens when you leave your husband on duty. They forget. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't mess up. It is Friday, right? Friday at 11 a.m. Well, look, I've been off on my days since 2020 hit us. But anyways, I'll kind of roll through and get out of the way in case there's somebody else lined up. Shauna, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not messing anybody's schedule up. But it's Today's Good Friday, right? Because I got a lot of things to do on this Good Friday. So I hope I'm not mixing up my days. You're going to have to make me pull the calendar up. The calendar, yes, is Friday. Okay. All right. So, anyway, so when I first started my business, I did a lot of home parties, and then I did a lot of bag parties throughout the year. I did some events, and I never really did much with online parties because that just wasn't my thing. I couldn't get anybody interested in those until COVID hit. So, this time last year, I was really like, I think all of us, if you've been with Scentsy long enough, in 2020, April or March 2020, we were kind of like, what's going to happen to my business? What's going to happen to Scentsy? Because it was so much unknown, right? And I think, I know what happened was the complete opposite of what we thought was going to happen happened. And now we are in hypergrowth. We're still in hypergrowth. It's been an absolute blessing to any and every consultant who's been working their business. And so I've had to transition a lot of my business online, it was a pivot I had to make. It was a growth I had to overcome. And it was a good growth. So, it was a different garden I had to tend to last year, and it made me very uncomfortable, but that's where your growth happens. And so, so I'm telling you guys why I'm passionate about follow-up, and I got a little off topic, I'm sorry. But I never followed it with my customers. So I started January 2013. I never followed it with my customers. I just assumed that they were going to call me when they wanted more Scentsy because I labeled everything, right? I labeled everything. All of the things have my label on it. They have my business card. I wrote them a handwritten thank you note. I've been doing that since the jump off. I thought they'll just call me. Big mistake. So I never followed it with my customers. In 2014, my director started talking about follow-ups. And so she was showing us her binder system she had and going through it. And I remember watching the video going, I ain't doing that. No, ma'am. I ignored it. It was way too complicated. I don't even live near a Target to go get the supplies because at the time it was a mini binder. And so those little inserts with the pockets, like you could only get those at Target. And it was a whole thing. So I ignored it. So I started my own notebook system that I actually still have to this day, and I hope my my service sticks with it. I live in the boondocks, y'all, and so I only have my phone, and sometimes my service cuts in and out, so I'm so sorry. If I freeze, I'll just wait a second and see if it unfreezes, and then we'll keep going. So anyway, I started with a notebook system that I still have to this day because I like to look at it and say and see like, ooh, you know, it was kind of a train wreck, but I had a notebook system where I wrote down people's names, when I contacted them, how I contacted them, and what the response was. And my system was that every 2 months I would flip back and see, you know, and go back to those people. Well, oh, see, and now they've discontinued the brand of the mini binder thing. So we're going to, you know, do what you got to do, but we're going to get into another what I transitioned into that I don't even need a binder for anymore. But when I was doing my little notebook system, a lot of people fell through the cracks because I was afraid I was aggravating people or annoying people because they were leaving me on red or never responding, and that kind of thing. So I didn't. And also, when I did my bag parties throughout the year, I was really terrible at collecting customer information. So a lot of times I would see a customer's name and be like, I don't even have any way to contact them. They're not on social media. I don't have any of their information. So that was a big mistake in the beginning too, in the early part of my business. Did you guys know that 70% of your customers only purchase one time from a consultant? 70% will only purchase one time from a consultant. And that's largely due to the lack of follow-up. Okay. So in the beginning of my business, I lost so many customers and even teammates from not following up. So many of my customers became teammates with someone else later on down the road. And I would always be like, what? I mean, she used to shop for me. Like, what's she doing? But that was my fault. That was on me. I never followed up with her. Like I didn't extend our relationship past their first order with me or their second order with me. And so, your follow-up with your customers, I want you guys to understand this. Your follow-up with your customers is more than just about their products. It is about the connection that you can make with that person that will eventually lead to the relationship you can build with that person. And so most of my customers, like honestly, like 98% of my customers, that's just a random number, but I'm throwing it out there because that's a lot. Most of my customers have become my friends. They've also transitioned into my hosts. They've also transitioned into my teammates. Because I have opened the door of communication with them early on with my follow-up for them to get to know, like, and trust me, okay? So in the spring of 2016, I had a heart-to-heart with my superstar director. Her name is Shannon Grant, because I wanted to get home with my baby girl. I was back at work then, and I was working as a public librarian, and because I'm a bookworm, I love to read, but y'all, working with the public, some days, whew. Okay, but so her and I had a heart-to-heart, and we discussed what is it going to take for me to get home. So what did my paychecks need to look like? So we had to make that vision first. What do my paychecks need to look like? What was that minimum? And what would it take to achieve that minimum paycheck that I needed to have in order to leave that job to be home with my little girl? So the first thing she said was that I needed consistent PRV. And she suggested that my consistent PRV needed to be $2,000 a month. Why? Because you get that extra bonus that's an automatic $600 paycheck without even factoring in any leadership bonuses. Okay. So because my paycheck that I needed was very close to that 600, a little bit more, but that was where some other stuff was going to come into play. So she was like, how are we going to do that? So she asked me how I took care of my customers. And because I know that my superstar director, Shannon Grant, who's one of my really closest friends, she has a servant's heart and is always looking for how she can better serve her customers and better take care of her customers, that I knew when she said, how do you take care of your customers? How can you take care of your customers? I knew that she was asking me to think about my customers and not my situation. She was asking me to think about them and not me. And so that was a game changer for my business. That was when I decided that I really have to take care of them. I have to take care of them. They're already taking care of me when they support me, but I got to take care of them so that they'll continue to come back to me, right? And that was through one-on-one communication. And so that's when we started with, I really started looking into this follow-up that I had ignored 2 years prior. So in the beginning of my consistent follow-up, I didn't know that's what it was called. I didn't know we called it follow-up. But I started using, again, that notebook where I was keeping track of people. But some people were still falling through the cracks. And so I had to come up with a new system. So that's when I really dove deep into the research of what follow-up is and what systems I can use to actually have a system. Like, I mean, yes, the notebook works if I work the notebook, but too many people were falling through the cracks. I needed something that was going to help me not lose people. So in 2017, I decided to give that mini binder a try, and it worked for a while because I am a pen and paper kind of girl, but real important things need to go on my phone, and I soon found out that real important things are my customers. So I needed to find like an app to use. In January 2017, I did love the binder system. I used it for a while, but let me just tell you this. It works, but if you don't open that binder and actually do the things, that system's not going to work for you. So I found out real quick that it was real easy for me to slide that binder to the side of the countertop and like not open it and not do the follow-ups in there. So I real quick learned that I needed something a little different. Well, it happened to be that in July at SFR in 2017 in Kansas City, I was presenting on the topic of follow-up, and I had a consultant come to my booth and was telling me about this app called Trello. And so we had a conversation, and looking into that on the plane ride home, I was inserting all my customers' data into Trello. I was getting notifications set up. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome because I can check. It was going to be great. So I did that for a while. And then in February 2018, the pilot program for it was called Maven at the time, but now we call it Sell with Amy came out, and I was asked to be a part of the pilot program. I was literally in the car driving to Charlotte, North Carolina for our world tour that year. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to try this. I'll sure try this. If it's going to sync to my workstation and back to the, yes, ma'am, sign me up. So I fell in love with that. And ever since I started with a consistent follow-up system, especially using the Sell with Amy app, I've had consistent 4-digit PRV months for 5 years now, okay? Making sure that my 500 PRV in is always in before the 15th of the month. But for the last 4 years, I've had consistent 2,000 PRV months, okay? And that's largely in part to my follow-up system, okay? I don't say that to impress any of you guys. I say that to impress upon you all how important consistency and a servant's heart is to your business, how important that is to growing your garden and growing your business. And you do that through authentic relationships with your customers, okay? So if you're struggling to get PRV, how are you going to do that? Consistent follow-up. If you struggle to have party hosts, how are you going to get them? Consistent follow-up. If you're struggling to have sponsoring conversations with your customers, how are you going to do those? Through consistent follow-up. If you're struggling to find club subscribers, how are you going to do that? Through consistent follow-up, and also figuring out how to add value to their life by saving them some money. But that's a whole other training for another day. But Cincy Club is definitely, I will be honest with you guys, it is the way that I have my 500 in before the 15th of every month is Cincy Club, okay? And then to add the icing onto the cake is also I have at least one follow-up party at the before the 15th of the month from just following up with my customers. So my PRV is well over 500 stacked before the 15th of every month. And that is due to follow-ups and Cincy Club. Okay, so the fortune is in the follow-ups. Shauna just posted that down there. Yes, the fortune is in the follow-up. Many people, I want you guys to understand this because I still have people and leaders on my team right now. I have superstar consultants on my team right now who will tell me that they don't like to follow up with people because they're afraid of the no. They're afraid of the rejection. Okay, so I want to touch on that for just a minute. Many people, including myself, we fear the no. We fear being left on red. We fear that rejection. But I want y'all to hear this. If you're taking notes, write this down. Superstar director Debbie Pitts-Palmer said this one time. I don't even know where I saw it, but when she said it, it changed the game for me. She said, you have to detach yourself from the response. And I was like, detach myself from the response. Okay, let's take some emotion out of this. So what does that mean? You got to understand that we sell a consumable product, so it's your job. It is literally your job to check in on your customers to see if they like their consumable products. Okay, so you're doing your job by checking in on your customers, by following up with them. Who cares if they leave you on red? Who cares if they, if they didn't even answer you back? It's fine. When you've got a systematic groove in your follow-up, which for me is Sell with Amy. So when I get my notifications and I do my follow-ups, I did 15 before I even got on this call with you all this morning. And I touched base with those people, text and email and various different ways to follow up with them, make sure they're liking their products. When you get into a systematic groove, you will send those messages however you send them through when Sell with Amy prompts you to send those messages. And you'll keep right on moving through your list of people that you need to notify. You won't even realize that they haven't even messaged you back until you go to follow up with them again the next time Sell with Amy prompts you to follow up with them, and you're like, oh shoot, she didn't even respond to this last message. Oh well, I'm gonna send it again because that's my job. Okay, not the same message again, but you're gonna send another one, right? You want to talk to your customers just like you would have a conversation with them if y'all were in real life. So just talk to them like you would talk to them. I don't really know how to say that any better. But your words do matter. Your conversations with your customers do matter. Sell with Amy is great because it does have automated prompts in there that you can just literally hit send and go. I change mine to sound a little bit more like me, but typically, I'll be really honest with you guys, I do take the extra, 10, 15 seconds per customer to erase the automatic message and type like I would, or send a message in my voice like I would if I were having a conversation with them in person, okay? But again, like I don't care if they leave me on red. I don't care even if they say no, if they respond back and say no, okay, great, no problem. Like, it's my job to do, so I'm okay with you telling me no. That's their right to do that, right? So, I don't get upset when they leave me on red. I've detached myself from that response because I have a job to do, and I'm just clicking through my customers. I'm checking in on my customers. They know that I care about them, and that's the most important part. Okay, so a side note for contact etiquette, I just wanted to throw this in there. I choose, because a lot of people are like, I don't have time to work my business, or I can't find time in the day to work my business, so I have to do it at nighttime. If you're working your business at nighttime, that is fine. But checking in with your customers, just choose a time frame. I typically don't, try not to message people between 8 a.m. or I do message them between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., but not outside of those time frames. Some people do 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's totally up to you, but you're not going to catch me messaging my customers, following up with them at 11:30 at night, okay? Because if I have somebody following up with me at 11:30 at night for another product, whoo, girl, it's not going to be good because I'm asleep. But I do have that do not disturb thing, and some people don't have that on their phones. But anyway, so that's just a whole nother sidebar to that. So just be courteous of sleep schedules and be respectful of their time. Okay, so did you know that you can do 2 to 3 follow-ups with the Sell with Amy app during a potty break? I mean, wash your hands first, but you can do 2 to 3 notifications from Sell with Amy. If you're working full-time, you can do that on a potty break. Okay, I utilized a lot of my time when I was working full-time. A lot of my breaks at the time, I was a nursing mother, so when I had my pump breaks, do y'all know what I did while I was connected? Messaging all the folks. I mean, I got 3 15-minute breaks or 20-minute breaks a day. I was messaging all the people. Lunch break, I'm sitting there shoveling food in my mouth, messaging all the people, okay? Because I knew my goal in mind was I needed to get away from this. And so the only way I was going to be able to do that was to take care of my customers. Okay. So did you also know that you can work at home, or you can do homeschool at home and also do some follow-ups at the same time? I do those things. I work from home and I homeschool. My kids will be over there doing some math problems and I'm over here texting a couple of customers. It's possible. Okay. Did you know that you can complete most of your notifications while you're waiting for dinner to cook? Do that all the time. While you're waiting in the car rider line. Well, I homeschool now, but I used to do that. I would do my follow-ups in the car rider line at 3 p.m. every day. Waiting for your grocery pickup, when they're loading them up in the back of the car, you can knock out some notifications from your Sell with Amy app. At baseball practice, yep, I'm guilty of doing a couple of those then. This is called your fringe time. Use your fringe time not just to scroll social media, because some people like to say they're working while they're scrolling social media. Y'all, come on, you ain't working, you're just bored. All right, but utilize your fringe time to work your business, okay? And you can do some Sell with Amy follow-ups. Give yourself a goal. I'm going to knock out 10 of these and then I'll go scroll social media. So give yourself a reward for that. Some people like to choose 1 to 2 days a week to solely focus, devote to their follow-up. I still do it mostly, but now it's just a part of my daily habit. But I used to do my Mondays and follow-up Fridays. So I always have my follow-up on Mondays and Fridays. And those were the days that I knew that was, if I don't do anything else Cincy related today, I am going to do my follow-ups on my Monday and follow-up Friday. That's just what some people choose to do whenever they need to schedule the time to work their Cincy business. All right, so you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do the both at the same time, guys. So you either want to tend to your Cincy garden and make it bloom, or you don't. So you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do both at the same time. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just telling you, do your follow-ups, get a system, try Sell with Amy. I think we all get it free for 30 days if you've never done it before. Be consistent for 3 months with your follow-up system, and then reevaluate it and see where your business is, okay? You've got to tend to your own garden first before you can worry about anybody else's garden. So your PRV has to be stacked. Your leadership PRV has to be stacked before you can start helping your team. Make sure that your garden is producing all the fruit before you can go out there and help somebody else's garden produce the fruit. Okay. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much for asking me, Shauna. I don't know what else I was going to say other than happy Easter, happy Good Friday. Y'all have a great weekend. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I'll try my best to answer them. Yes, it's free. Yes. Look, you have no excuse right now not to try Sell with Amy. It's amazing. It's a game changer. Just do the notifications. Commit to 5 to 10 a day. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.